Alright y'all, what's up? DJ DrawgZ here, and today we're going to be talking about computers. What you need to look for in a computer. And the Mac versus PC argument. And we're going to be ending it off with why I chose this computer to DJ, this Mac. It's a 2015. So, alright, so I want to start with the PC versus Mac argument. And there's a couple of big reasons why I choose, and I feel a lot of DJs choose to go with Mac versus PC. The main reason I feel that people go with a Mac over PC is stability. Yes, PCs are very stable nowadays, but they're not protected like a Mac is when it comes to viruses, crashing, and all that stuff. And also, you don't have to download drivers or any of that stuff. It's a lot simpler to use, which I feel DJs like because it adds dependability. And when that adds dependability, it adds, reliability, obviously. But it makes it so you're not having to worry about your computer crashing in the middle of a set. And when you're not having to worry about that, you can focus more on your set and do a better job. I feel like that's one reason. Another reason is the workflow on the Mac, I feel, is much easier to use than a PC. A PC you kind of got to hunt a little bit versus a Mac where it's just simpler to use. Those are the two big reasons I feel that people go with a Mac over PC, and those reasons are legitimate reasons. They're not like, oh, everyone else has a Mac, I want to get a Mac. It's not like that. Those are the reasonable reasons why I feel like people go with Mac over PC. Regardless of which type of computer you're going to get, what are some specs you should have for a computer? First thing is 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I say this very passionately because you don't want to have some low amount of RAM where your computer crashes or your computer's being sluggish at an event. I actually had a computer before this, and it was a school issue computer, and I did have virtual DJ on it, and this was back in my controller days before I got this beautiful setup behind me, mainly this beautiful thing right here, but it crashed a lot. I couldn't depend on it, and that's because it only had 4 gigs of RAM. And yeah, so that's why I suggest that you go with a higher amount of RAM, because when you're going through and searching for tracks, and tracks are being analyzed, and there's the communication between your computer and your controller, computer, DeX, DVS system, whatever you're using, that all takes a part of the RAM, and you don't want to be sluggish. That's a death sentence, especially if your computer crashes. Then to wait too many shows where a gig or a set is cut short because a computer crashes. That's one thing. The second thing is you should have at least a terabyte of memory, of storage in your computer. I say this because it'll fill up really fast. I got 512, I wish I got a terabyte, and I can't replace this hard drive in this computer. So I had to get these 2 terabyte external hard drives. One of them I have only music, one of them I have my videos and some music. So yeah, definitely get a terabyte or more. The final thing I want to talk about is the display for it, the screen. Really, you don't need any fancy stuff. You don't need 4K, you don't need Iris, you can go simple. Because you're not editing videos. I did get a better display because I do edit videos. You don't have to see that, but if you're just looking at waveforms and stuff, you don't need to be that precise. You don't need to look down to the little nanometer. Just go ahead and get like a 1080p, or if you want to, a little bit better, but don't blow a bunch of cash on it. The final thing is, and this is one of the most important things, make sure your computer has all the necessary ports. You can see this with computers now all the time, especially with the new Apple Macbook Pro. If I have the option of getting this computer I have again and the new one, I would get this one. Here's why. The new one does not have any USB ports. It only has those USB-C connections, little roundish square ones. And all my stuff uses USB, and I don't want to have to be carrying around a whole bunch of USB dongles, USB to Thunderbolt stuff. I just don't, and it's annoying. And here's the other thing, the more breaks and connections you have, the less precise the signal is going to be. Alright, now we're going to be talking about my baby right here, my MacBook Pro. This computer is a 2015 Retina display, 15-inch, May 2015 Macbook Pro. It has a 2.5 gigahertz Intel Core i7 processor with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's got Intel Iris Pro graphics, and it's got 52 gigabytes of storage, but 70 of which are dedicated to the boot camp I have on my computer. If you don't know what a boot camp is, it's where you can take your Mac and dedicate a certain amount of the storage on it, a certain amount of the RAM, all that stuff, and install Windows on the other half. I do this because I also do a whole bunch of CAD stuff, and you have to have Windows and CAD. That's a little bit about my computer. I have one SD card slot, an HDMI slot, 2 USBs, 2 Thunderbolt, and a charging port and a headphone jack. This is my baby. I would definitely buy this computer again over the newer MacBook just because it has all the ports, and I mean, I prefer it. In my opinion, it's not worth just getting the scroll bar, a little new scroll bar thing to upgrade. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. I know this video might be a little confusing, a little rambly. I'm not the best when it comes to computers at all, but I know what you should look for when it comes to DJing. Let me like this video. If you did, like and subscribe. Thanks for enjoying. DJ Girls.
You're a superhero.